How's it going, guys? Your boy Fall Ninja here, and today we're going to talk about some Ubisoft games that have been leaked. This was leaked about 2 weeks ago. I never talked about it because I didn't have time. But now that I've seen nobody has really talked about it, I'm going to take the opportunity to go ahead and talk about this, especially because some of these relate to Far Cry, and of course this is mainly a Far Cry channel. So let's go ahead and look at this leaked information. So I'm on segmentnext.com, and I think this was leaked on 4chan. I was informed about this by Steve64B, and as you can see here, it has a bunch of games that some that have been announced, some that haven't been announced, and it shows which studio is working on what. So for example, you know, Ubisoft Barcelona is working on VR projects. I've never seen any VR Far Cry games or any VR Ubisoft games, so that's pretty cool. And then some of them, like The Division, have been announced, and we know that Ghost Recon Breakpoint has been announced. So we know that some of these games are being worked on, but the one that we never really got any information on has been Far Cry 6. So if you look at the very bottom of this list, it shows Far Cry 6 is being worked on by Ubisoft Toronto. Far Cry 6, I don't know what they're going to do with that game. I'm hoping they go back to the tropical setting, or at least somewhere that has like the jungle vibe plus like some sort of civilization vibe. So think of like some place like Brazil or something in the Caribbean, something where you have jungle but you also have more city style areas. Far Cry 5 dabbled a little bit on that, so some of the towns were a little bit bigger, had more objects, and look almost like regular towns, but they were really small in scope. So I'm hoping that they actually expand on that and make some of the areas that you travel into in the game a bit more, I don't know, civilized to some extent. Kind of give us more of that urban combat. Even though it's a Far Cry game, it wouldn't be bad to have some sort of slums somewhere where it's a bunch of little houses and huts and shit that you gotta go in there and kill some bad guys. So Ubisoft Toronto is working on Far Cry 6. Ubisoft Reflections is working on 6. Far Cry 6, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Skull and Bones. So they're actually handling the vehicle physics and simulation, which is pretty good. So they have several different teams working on like the same thing, but they're all handling different parts. Now the one that caught my attention is Ubisoft Berlin working on Far Cry 5.5. So what the heck is Far Cry 5.5? At first, I thought that Far Cry 5.5 is Far Cry New Dawn. But if you look up Far Cry New Dawn, it shows that it was developed by Ubisoft Montreal, which of course they worked on Far Cry 5, so that means that Far Cry New Dawn has a big part of their work on there. But also Ubisoft Shanghai, Ukraine, and Romania. Doesn't mention Ubisoft Berlin. As a matter of fact, Ubisoft Berlin is a fairly new studio, so let's check those guys out. So once you head over to Ubisoft Berlin's website, scroll down, pretty cool pictures. Okay, so this is like their landing page. Right here it says, hello, Ubisoft Berlin opened in early 2018 in the center of Berlin. If I'm not mistaken, they opened actually in around February of 2018. Far Cry 5 came out in March of 2018. So there's no way that they worked on Far Cry New Dawn, because that game came out a few months ago. And it would have been kind of rushed for them to actually work on that game and get it done. And we already know that they're not even included on that developer list that shows who worked on the game. But it shows that they're working on Far Cry 5.5, which leads to the question of what are they working on? So if you read the landing page, they have it's Van Tajne. I totally messed up his name. The studio manager. The landing page says Ubisoft Berlin opened in early 2018 in the center of Berlin, only a few minutes walk away from the famous shopping street of, I'm not going to pronounce that, the Berlin Zoo and the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church. We are part of the Ubisoft Blue Byte Studio network, and our focus is it will be on co-development of big Ubisoft brands, starting with none other than the Far Cry series. So they definitely are working on something Far Cry related, but it doesn't say that they're working on Far Cry 6. It says they're working on Far Cry 5.5. As a newly established Ubisoft studio, we have an ambitious but humble approach to the contribution we want to bring to the Far Cry franchise. So something humble but ambitious. I don't know what that is. We're committed to excellence. We want to dedicate ourselves to delivering inspiring and meaningful game experiences that will empower our players and make them feel part of the Far Cry community. So we're talking about something empowering the players. So what else empowers the player in the Far Cry game more than the Far Cry 5 arcade or the Far Cry arcade? And of course the community. I mean, it's talking about the community. That's what brings us together. Like if I play Far Cry co-op or by myself, that's not a community to an extent. Most of community related, gaming experiences come around multiplayer and co-op. Big co-op experiences, multiplayer PvP. So to make it the place to be, so they want to make whatever they're working on, they want it to be the place to be, the it place, something like Fortnite, like Apex, something that fans. Let's continue what he wrote here. For fans of the online open world shooters, we aim to inspire, empower, and connect with the cosmopolitan and diverse studio environments. Come and join us, one of the most creative dynamic cities in the world. Anyway, so that's mostly like if you want to join them, and also if you want to read what their, like, I guess their mission is. That's directly from their studio manager. But man, that begs the question: what are they working on? What's gonna be Far Cry, Far Cry 5.5? I'm thinking Far Cry 5.5 is going to be a new Far Cry experience. Now, the one thing that would get players, to play the Far Cry arcade more than what they do now is to make it free to play. You're gonna have all these people that don't have the game or don't want to buy the game. They'll go like, hey, why not? Let me check it out. Especially those younger players that don't have any money to buy games, or those players that are on the fence about buying a game. They like to wait. This way they can try it out, free of charge, and see what they really think about it. So this is something that's really, really big. We don't know what they're doing. I'm hoping and praying, that it's gonna be a Far Cry 5 or a Far Cry arcade free-to-play environment where players can make their own maps, PvP, PvE maps. I'm hoping they add new game modes if this is actually what they're doing. Man, I want to see game modes like Domination, then game modes like Capture the Flag. That was very big in Far Cry Instincts Predator. Was Capture the Flag, was Capture the Sample. You get this little drug and you get all hyped up. Or I think it was Capture the Diamond. There was a bunch of different like cool game modes you were able to play in those older Far Cry games. And I mean, Domination is a very basic one, but they can really go all out. For example, scripting. There's a mod on PC that lets scripting work on multiplayer, but it's so buggy that honestly I haven't even tried to make a map, because from the testing that I've done, it's so inconsistent, especially when players join in late, that it just like kind of breaks part of the game, and it kind of ruins the experience if you make a cool game mode with scripting, but it doesn't really work. Because the way scripting works now, it's on a per user basis, but if you start a map and all the users activate a script, but one user comes in halfway through the game and then he activates it, or doesn't even activate because he came in late, you're gonna have all these issues where he's not even showing up in your screen, or he's teleporting, or he's locked somewhere that he can't get out of. There's a few things that kind of break the scripting in multiplayer. So they can add scripting properly to the game for multiplayer and make it a server-side thing. So the server or the host, whoever's hosting the match, they, like, whenever somebody activates the script, they actually get the information, hey, script is activated, and then every player gets affected by the same script, and then that state of that script gets saved. So if anybody joins in, then they can view the script already, or the scene the way everybody else sees it, and there's no issues. It's very technical stuff, but it requires a lot of programming for them to actually get this thing to work properly. But also, if they can do custom game modes to where they give you like tools for you to add things and almost create your own game mode. Like if I want to make Michael Myers, I can create that. If I want to make prop hunt, like like a bunch of different things. For me, my favorite game mode in most shooting games is a game mode like Rush from Battlefield. I just love the whole going through the map, one phase at a time and kind of progressing through that narrative. And I enjoy just the whole, hey, this is our side, this is your side. Now let's see who can get in here and take over the objective. So I'm really hoping that they do this, and they can do a lot of different things when it comes to like the PvE side, more scripting options, something that we really need in the Far Cry games. And this is probably a wish list. This is kind of like a wish list slash I'm hoping we get this kind of video. is that for Far Cry 6 at least, or even this, whatever this next Far Cry experience is, I'm really hoping that they add text to the game where you can give player notes to read, or if they're doing something, you can do a trigger where this note or there's like text will pop up on their screen, like it'll probably stop the game and they can read something. So let's say I want a player to go through this doorway. As soon as it enters the doorway, game freezes. It doesn't freeze, but it stops, and then boom, they get a text saying, hey, your objective is to find this person in this house and kill them and then escape, something like that. It'd be cool if you can do custom text and also custom chat with the NPCs. Place an NPC down and I can create my own dialogue that they'll tell us, and maybe you can respond even if it doesn't affect anything. So I know it's a long-winded video, but I'm just excited to see what they're working on, because we got Far Cry 6 and Far Cry 5.5. Now, of course, none of this is confirmed. This is all speculation, but some of the stuff that's already on that list, like the new Ghost Recon and a few other things, are things that we already know about now that came out after the fact, after the leak. So if those were true, I'm hoping that Far Cry 5.5 is true. And again, Far Cry 6, like I said, I'm hoping that game is the biggest Far Cry experience we get. And if they're going to do semi-RPG stuff like in Far Cry New Dawn, I kind of hope they go all the way. Don't give me a half RPG, give me a full RPG. I don't like the little halfsies, because then it just makes the game feel just a little bit cheap or a little bit gimmicky. I would like it if they're gonna add like enemy health that varies based on their level. I want a lot more options. Maybe options to take down an enemy without even having to fight them. Maybe you can talk to them and kind of get them to, hey, calm down and not fight you. Anyways, it's a long-winded video. I know I was kind of ranting a bit. Well, not ranting, but going off about a lot of stuff. But I would really love to see what they're working on. Far Cry 5.5. Why would they give it that code name? That's so weird. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.